Now, before you start testing the Insecure Bank application, you're going to need to set up the application and its backend server. So let's get started. So go to your Kali machine, log in with the default credentials Kali and Kali. So when I start Kali Linux and switch to full screen mode, first it'll display a black screen. Now, if you encounter this problem, you can just exit full screen and re-enter. But I think we're coming up against this problem because I've recently increased the resolution of the screen. It's okay now. So let's open up the web browser and search for InsecureBank. Now, the creator of this application provides a detailed guide on its GitHub page about how to set up the application and its backend server. So let's have a look at this. We'll click on Usage Guide. Scroll down a bit. All right, so we've completed the first step. Let's have a look at the second step. So we'll need to clone the repository. And something, I don't want to go back from this page. So I'll just quickly open the GitHub page in a new tab. So we'll copy the URL, open terminal screen, and first switch user to root, run git clone, and paste the URL of the repo. Okay, so let's change the directory to Insecure Bank folder, list files. Now let's go to the Andro Lab server folder. And before running the server, we'll need to install requirements. Run pip install-r requirements.txt. Now run app.py, which is the script with the Python command. Oh, and there are some missing modules. So let's install again what is required using the Python command and give pip module with -m parameter, which means module, by the way. So this error is caused by the default Python version installed in Kali, which is 3. So the pip module runs also with Python 3 in new Kali versions. However, the server of the Insecure Bank app is written in Python 2, so that means we'll need to install pip2. So go to the browser and search for pip install for Python 2. Let's have a look at the first website. So as you can see here, we can install pip2 with this script. So let's download it with wget and copy this line, paste it. All right, we got it. So now run it with Python 2. So we can install the requirements again. And that makes it work. So this time we can go ahead and run the server. We'll start the Android virtual device. Now, hopefully you remember that we configure the first network adapter of the Android virtual device host only, and the second adapter to be NAT network. The network adapter of the Kali machine is also on NAT network. So let's open the Wi-Fi ADB app, and now we can see the IP address of the NAT network. Now what we'll do is connect this emulator from Kali. Open a new tab in the terminal screen and run ADB connect. And that's the command with the IP address and port number. All right, so that connects us to the emulator. Now let's go to the guide. So the next step is to install the Insecure Bank application onto the emulator via ADB. So first, we'll need to download the APK file from that GitHub page. All right, so Just make sure it's the latest release and download the APK file. Okay, so now we can launch the application. Go to the directory where you downloaded the APK file, and as you can see, it's here for me. So we'll run adb install and the InsecureBank APK file. All right, so we got a success message, and we feel good about our success. Let's control the app. All right, so the installation is completed. And as you can see here, the version of Android 10 will ask us to access these files. Prior to Android 6, you could reasonably assume that if your app is running at all, it has all the permissions it declares in the app manifest. But beginning with Android 6.0, API level 23, users grant and revoke app permissions at runtime instead of doing so when they install the app. So for security testing, we'll assume that the user has granted full access permissions for these files. Android has also added support for in-app updates that works with devices running Android 5.0 API level 21 or higher. And again, we're not going to check for updates for testing. Now, to connect to the app server, we need to configure the server from the preferences at the top right corner. So we need to know the IP address and where the Andro Lab server is running. So in our case, this is the IP address of my NAT network adapter and port 8888 for my Kali machine. So let's go ahead and check with the ifconfig command. Of course, we'll need to run it with sudo. All right, so here's the IP address, and we can complete the configuration. Okay, let's log in with the default credentials of the application, and I'm sure you remember it was written on the GitHub page. Username DINESH, password capital DINESH @123 $. Click on login, and we're now in. So let's check the app server. And what you're looking at is a message that shows the login activity.